Are you fascinated by strange medical conditions? If you are, you won't want to miss this video. In fact, if you're interested in all things weird and unusual, you should definitely stick around. Get your mind ready as we take a look at the most bizarre overdoses. If you're a tea lover, pay close attention to this one. Did you know that there could be adverse effects from drinking too much tea? A 47-year-old woman in Detroit actually drank so much tea that she ended up developing a rare bone disease known to the scientific community as skeletal fluorosis. She even ended up losing all of her teeth. For those who are unfamiliar with this medical condition, skeletal fluorosis is basically doctor's talk for stiff joints, bone pain, and easily breakable teeth. Long story short, fluoride is a mineral which is actually quite beneficial when administered in controlled and relatively small amounts. However, this woman's daily habit of drinking a pitcher of tea made from over 100 tea bags eventually led to her body being exposed to whopping amounts of fluoride. We should also note that she did this for a period of roughly 17 years. Still, there is one piece of very good news. The woman's skeletal fluorosis has a high chance of healing in time, as long as she cuts down on her tea intake and turns towards other beverages instead. Although you may love the flavor of soy sauce, you need to be careful about how much you ingest. A young man who drank a quart of soy sauce went into a coma and nearly died from an excess of salt in his body. Bear in mind, a quart is equal to 32 ounces of liquid. That is a lot of soy sauce. Of course, this all started with a dare, because that's how most stupid decisions come to be. The 19-year-old was dared by his friends to drink an entire 32 ounces of soy sauce. After the teenager drank the soy sauce, he began twitching and having seizures, so the friends took him to an emergency room. The hospital administered anti-seizure medication, but he was already in a coma by the time he was taken to the University of Virginia Medical Center. His sodium levels eventually returned to normal after about 5 hours, and he remained in a coma for 3 days but woke up on his own. This teenager is the first person known to have deliberately overdosed on such a high amount of salt and survived with no lasting neurological problems. This was definitely a close call. When it comes to Brussels sprouts, you either love them or you hate them. But now, doctors say that Brussels sprouts should come with a health warning because a man was hospitalized after eating them. The man from Scotland was prescribed anticoagulants after suffering heart failure, and his dose was monitored once or twice a week to prevent blood clotting. By the way, anticoagulants is just a fancy way of saying blood thinning medication. Anyway, when the Scottish man's blood started to clot, he was admitted to a specialized heart unit of the Golden Jubilee Hospital in Clydebank. Doctors just couldn't figure out why the medication wasn't keeping his blood thin, until they discovered that he had been eating way too many Brussels sprouts. That's right, the leafy green vegetables contain vitamin K, a chemical our bodies use to promote blood clotting, which means it was counteracting the effects of his blood thinning medication. Yikes. Did you know that you could overdose on nutmeg? Well, you can. The household spice nutmeg has been reported as the cause of accidental, intentional, or suicidal overdosing for 400 years. Usually, people who ingest large amounts of nutmeg are looking for a high. The spice contains a natural compound called myristicin, which has hallucinogenic effects in large doses that are similar to the high from LSD. Using the spice as a drug is a popular practice among teenagers and prison inmates because of its accessibility. But even though nutmeg is legal and easy to obtain, there are some very unpleasant side effects of ingesting the amount required to experience a high. Within an hour of consuming a large amount of nutmeg, users typically suffer severe gastrointestinal problems. After a few more hours, people can begin experiencing heart and nerve problems. This is especially dangerous for anyone with an undiagnosed heart problem. Hallucinations do not occur until several hours after ingesting nutmeg, which can lead people to consume additional amounts if they think they didn't take enough the first time. Using the spice as a drug is not a modern development. Widespread nutmeg intoxication cases were seen in the early 1900s and then again in the 1960s before resurfacing more recently. In fact, there was even a TikTok challenge called Nutmeg Challenge, where people would swallow large amounts of nutmeg and make a video documenting the way they felt. In several instances, people had to be hospitalized or rushed to the emergency room. Please do not attempt this one. Now, we know that people can drown when they are underwater, but did you know that you can die from drinking too much water? Jennifer Leah Strange was one such person. She drank herself to death with water when she fatally consumed a large dose of H2O during a radio contest called Hold Your Wee for a Wee. The young wife and mother agreed to drink as much water as possible as part of the contest in order to win a Wii game player. The game console sells for about $250. Jennifer had showed fellow contestants photographs of her two sons and daughter for whom she was hoping to win the Nintendo Wii. Contestants competed to see who could go the longest without stopping to urinate. After the contest, Jennifer tragically collapsed and died, resulting in a civil lawsuit against the radio station. Water intoxication, which is also known as hyperhydration, can cause a fatal disturbance in the brain when the electrolytes in the body are thrown off their normal balance. This unfortunately appears to be what happened to Jennifer. We always laugh at those erectile dysfunction tablet advertisements where a man with a serious voice says, "In the rare event of an erection lasting more than 4 hours, seek immediate medical help." However, a Russian man named Sergei Tuganov heard this disclaimer and considered it a challenge. The 28-year-old mechanic reportedly accepted a $4,300 bet from two women who claimed he didn't have the stamina to endure an all-day sex session with them. Well, he was about to prove them wrong. 12 hours and a whole bottle of Viagra later, the deed was done. Unfortunately, so was Sergei. According to the Moscow police, Sergei had suffered a heart attack just moments after winning the bet. For anyone planning to participate in an all-day intercourse marathon with two ladies, it's okay to take a pill or two, just not the whole bottle. What are your thoughts on these bizarre overdose cases? Let us know in the comments below. If you made it to the end of this video, that can only mean one thing. You are seriously into some weird-ish. So go ahead and press that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more weird content just like this.